Product Camp. And we've gotten 3 or 4 wonderful speakers out of Product Camp, and he, I'm sure, is going to be one of those exceptional ones. But I'll give you a quick rundown of his career just from his LinkedIn profile. In his 30-year career, he doesn't look that old, but in his 30-year career, Alex McCarthy has sales, engineering roles in companies ranging from startups to global publicly traded companies. During this time, he's made over 15 career transitions. Some successful, some not. Some were small, like promotions or moving into new roles at the same company. Others were large, like starting his own retail service company, changing industries, or moving between global publicly traded companies and startups. His extensive network of colleagues began to tap his career transition experience. Working with these exceptional people enabled him to create a repeatable process that delivers the 3 things that they want most. Find a career that builds on their passions, make smarter transitions faster, and maximize their chance of success at each transition. Through this work, he found his passion, working with other successful leaders, defining and navigating to careers where they are excited to go to work, making a meaningful impact. His presentation today is entitled, Accelerate Your Search, Making the Most of Networking Meetings. Alex McCarthy.
Thank you. So, a couple of quick things. One is, Kathy offered to, hey, talk about myself. So Kathy said, okay, well, I'll come up with something, I'll shorten it up. Well, she didn't shorten it up, so it was way too much. So I'm embarrassed. But I am very happy to be here. I'll just start off with, I've been in your shoes. I've literally sat in meetings just like this throughout my career. I'm not just here, talking the talk. I've walked the walk. And through that, I have really found what my passion is, which is helping people land their dream jobs. And I would encourage you to take the time to figure out what that is, and then to go and pursue it. When you're excited, and we've all seen when people are engaged in their work and they're excited, phenomenal things happen. Their businesses grow, the people around them are developed, there's new opportunities, their families are happier, the divorce rate drops, they can be more charitable in their communities, they can come in and volunteer. So as a personal mission, I want to see as many people as possible end up in jobs that they're totally psyched about, to get up on a Monday morning, just like the training for the marathon that you talked about in the new orientation group. Well, they'll get up on a rainy, cold morning and be happy to go to work. So that's my dream and my hope for you. So with that, I'm going to start with a little skit, and I've asked my wonderful assistant, Kathy, to assist me in this. And so a little bit of a high wire act. We haven't done this before, so if it's a little rough, it's a little rough. It'll be preserved for posterity on YouTube. Thank you. But here's the deal, right? So we are all going to go to networking meetings. By networking meetings, in this particular case, I'm talking about maybe a one-on-one, a coffee, where you said, hey, listen, I'm looking, can we get together, or a phone call, I'm exploring my new opportunities. That's the context of this. And so what I want to do is, Kathy is basically going to ask the same set of questions twice. The first time we're going to go through, and I'm going to show you kind of how not to do it. And then the second time we're going to go through, and hopefully I'll do a better job, and I'll show you kind of how to do it. And I just want to say up front that, I've tried to help as many people as I can through their job search, and what I'm about to do is not far from reality. So I'm going to take it to a little extreme, but this has basically happened to me, okay? So, with that...
Did Paul tell you we kind of have to stay by the table? Okay.
We're staying right by the table. So basically, the situation is I'm a job seeker, and I've asked Kathy, who's very well connected in Austin, to come have a coffee with me, right? So we're sitting in a cafe, and, so we're going to get started. So.
All right, well, hi, it's been a while.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, very nice to see you. So why are you looking?
Well, I used to work at Acme Communications, and the leadership there was so poor that the first time it was a little bit of a threat. They fired half the staff. I got let go in the first round. I can't believe it. you figured they would know that what I was doing was so important they couldn't do without me. I was indispensable, and yet the VPs were completely ineffective.
So what are you looking for now?
Well, I've been in sales for 10 years, so I'd like to maybe find something in sales or maybe engineering.
Engineering. Well, that's a big change. I didn't know you had an engineering background. What makes you great at engineering?
Well, I had a couple of engineering classes back in college, and talked to lots of engineers. And come on, man, engineering, how hard can it really be?
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well, I just need a job, any job. Sales, engineering, I'll do marketing. I just need a job. Do you have a job?
Do I have a job?
Yeah, do you have a job?
I don't. Gee, let me think about it, and if I come up with something, then I'll sure let you know.
Kathy, I appreciate that. I just need a job, so thank you very, very much.
Yeah, right. Good to see you. Good to see you.
All right. So that's how not to do it. And like I said, unfortunately, I've been on Kathy's side of that conversation. We'll go to the second pass, and hopefully this will be a little bit better demonstration of how to have a better networking meeting with a better outcome.
So Alex, hi. Good to see you again.
Hi, Kathy. Thanks for taking the time. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, I'm here to help you, and so why are you looking?
Well, I worked at Acme Communications in their sales department, and there were some changes in the industry. There was an acquisition, and so as most people will know, they don't need 2 directors of sales for the Western United States, and so because we were the acquiring company, unfortunately, I was let go. Mm-hmm. So I did a great job of transitioning to the company that acquired us, and I've got a lot of great colleagues there, and I wish them the best of success with their merger.
So what are you looking for now?
So I'd like to build on my sales skills. I want to try and find a company, maybe small to medium business, 100 to maybe 500 people, the company that offers business applications or cloud computing services. A typical role will be like a director of sales for a region, maybe an inside sales manager, and I have a couple of companies in mind, like Web Apps Are Us, and we are the big enterprise software company.
I know some people that work there. I'm happy to reach out for them on your behalf. Tell me what it is that makes you great. So when I talk to them about you, I have something to offer them. What makes you really good at what you do?
Well, in my 10 years at Acme Communications as the sales director on the West Coast, I went to President's Clubs twice. I was over quota by more than 20%, 8 out of the 10 years. I started out as a field application engineer and grew my way up to director. And I have a President's Award in my 9th year there, recognizing my contribution to the company.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I do have some contacts at the first company on your list. My brother-in-law works at a company that might be looking for somebody with your background, and I'll certainly reach out to him. But I think I can help you.
Great, Kathy. I really, really appreciate it. So I'll follow up with you and ask if we can, get the warm introductions going.
That's
I
absolutely
really
right.
appreciate your help.
Okay, this is great. This is great. It's good to see you again.
Likewise. Thank you, Kathy. So my hope for you is that you will always be the second person, and don't be that guy, because the other thing about that guy typically is they show up 5 minutes late to a meeting they've called. They don't follow up. Just do not be that guy or gal. So why me? We've been through that. Make sure, yeah. So basically, exploring for new opportunity, it's a numbers game. And I think that Kathy's done so many great things teeing up this morning for the new members and the existing members. It can be a struggle at times. Her point about a SWAT team, I think, is absolutely dead on. I would highly recommend you get a group of people that you can traverse this with. But I don't want you to lose sight of it. It's just a numbers game. So you're going to get a whole lot of no's, and eventually you're going to get yes. And if you've done a good job, that yes is going to be phenomenal because it's the job that you've been searching for. So all you want is one job It's going to take X number of interviews. In order to get X number of interviews, you're going to have Y number of conversations with hiring managers. In order to get to those hiring managers, you're going to have Z conversations in these networking meetings, right? And you're just going to work the process down from networking meetings, and there's prep before that, but networking meetings to your job. And so what I ask you to do is think search process, not job search. It's a big difference. So this is the process that I've come up with. It's not revolutionary. It's something I've built from experience and talking to a lot of people a heck of a lot smarter than I am who've been doing this for a really long time. But this is kind of my expression of how to go out and find a great job. Today we're going to focus on step number 4. The first step is you have to know yourself, right? What are your passions? What are you good at? Write those down, get that figured out, talk to friends, talk to family, take personality tests, whatever it takes to figure out who you are and what you're good at. Set some career goals, right? You may want to be someplace, but it may take 2 or 3 steps to get there. That's great. Have a plan. Then you want to explore and confirm. This is especially important if you're going to make a big career change, right? Go talk to 10 people or 20 people who are doing that. Make sure the grass really is greener on the other side of the fence. We'll talk about networking here in a minute. And then interview. There's a lot of techniques that you can improve your interview skills and your presence. And once again, Kathy and the folks here have done a great job of outlining what those things are. Get with somebody else, take turns. Draft a 90-day plan. I think this is one of those hidden gems. If you can go into a job interview with a draft 90-day plan of this is what I think I would do, right, you're going to stand out from all the other guys who are coming in who just are looking for a job, right? So think about what you're going to do for them in the first 90 days. Then we go into negotiation. How do you find the win-win? And then finally, once you get the job, you're still not successful yet. You're just starting. And so we'll build on the 90-day plan and we'll launch for your success, right? What's it going to take to be successful in your new role? So that's the overall job search process. You don't have to believe in this one. That's fine. All I'm asking is you get one and you follow it. There's a lot of them out there. Pick one, use it. So this is supposed to be a build, but there's all the answers, so that's okay. The main point of this slide is why are you networking in the first place? So as you can see, there's a big red X on ask for a job, right? And you saw the interaction the first time with Kathy and I, and it made Kathy very uncomfortable. It's a lose-lose if you say, I want a job, right? Because you're not going to get it, you'll be disappointed, it's one more necessary no, and it's a lose for them because they're not able to say yes, and yet they wanted to come and help you. The ask was too high for the meeting. So what are the reasons for having a networking meeting? The first one is to learn more about what's happening at companies or say around Austin in this case, what people are moving around. There's a lot of people in the newspaper you can find out about. There's people maybe in your network or your shared network that have moved around. You find out about that, what trends are going on. I'm even coming here this morning, and the lady from Solutions.net, I can't remember the first name, was talking about just this trend of not enough people in with Java skills and certifications, right? So that's a new piece of news to me. I knew Austin was hot, and there was a demand for software. I didn't know that it was particularly that. So you come and you learn about new things. You want to help others. As you are all exploring, you're going to run into things that the other people who have their day jobs and families who just don't get out as much as they would, they just don't have that breadth of view anymore. And so as you're saying, these are the companies I'm looking at, they'll go, oh, well, who's this company? Who are WebRS? And you can say, oh, well, they do so-and-so, and this is what they're about. And they're like, oh, okay, that's cool, and hopefully they'll know somebody there. But even if they don't, that may help them with, oh, I've been looking for somebody to help me with, my web app or whatever it might be. And so it's a shared helping as part of the networking meeting. And finally, and the most important thing is you want to gain access to their network, right? Unlike the first guy, Kathy's like, there's no way this guy is talking to anybody that I know ever, right? It's going to be a waste of their time. I'm going to burn my bridge. Next time I say, hey, would you talk to so-and-so? Hell no, not happening. Thanks for the last person. And so that's what you want, right? The goal coming out, the primary result coming out of networking meeting is you want to get, ideally 2 names. And this goes back to the numbers game, right? If I have one networking meeting with John, and he gives me 2 names, and then I have those 2 meetings, and I get to meet with Cody and with Tim, and they give me 2 names, now I have 4, I have those 4, I have 8, 16, 32, it just keeps expanding, and that's how you drive the numbers. And what you'll find is, if you do this, and you do it well and consistently and work at it, is your schedule's full of coffee and phone calls. And that's great, because that's going to help you through that numbers to find the one job as soon as possible. So, here are the 3 questions. And if you remember back, these are essentially the 3 questions that Kathy asked that most people will ask. Either intuitively they'll ask it, or explicitly they'll ask it. Why are you looking? What are you looking for, and what makes you great at it? Most people will not let you talk to their friends, family, colleagues without having some sense of those answers to those 3 questions. If they don't ask you the question, tell them the answer, right? They may not know what to ask, but if they know walking out of there, like hopefully the second guy demonstrated, of what I'm looking for is very specific, why I'm looking is acquisition, they don't need to Western salespeople, I'm looking for another similar job in this area for these types of companies, and I'm great at it because I had these awards and recognitions. Right? That's a very positive. Sure, Alex, you know, go to my LinkedIn. Anybody you want to talk to, you clearly are moving towards something, not moving away from something, or things are out of your control. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this in very rapid fashion. For each of those 3 questions, we're going to have an exercise. The exercise is going to go like this. I'm going to take 3 minutes, and I'm going to explain what the question is, the context, and then I'm going to give an example. Hopefully it's a good example, but it'll be an example. We'll see. You guys tell me if it's a good example or not. And then you're going to get 2 minutes. And when I say 2 minutes, I mean 2 minutes. I'm going to be like Tim in the Army. We're going to time. So maybe it wasn't the Army. What service was it? Army. I got lucky. Thank you for your service, by the way. Greatly appreciated. You're going to write a draft answer. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be good, but it's going to be better than the one you have now. And that's progress, and that's what we want to do. So then you're going to pair up. So think about who you're going to sit down with. And A is going to take 1 minute to read their answer to B. B is going to take 1 minute to give their answer, their feedback to A. I'm going to call time. B now reads to A. A gives feedback to B. We move on to the next question. Right? We have limited time. Pace and pressure will help, hopefully, with your thinking. Like I say, don't worry about perfection. Just make it better than what it is today. So the first question is, why are you looking? You want to show that you're moving towards something, that you have a goal, and your goal isn't to find your next paycheck. Believe me, I understand the pressure of wanting to find your next paycheck. I've got 4 wonderful daughters, a wonderful wife of 33 years. Unfortunately, they like to eat 3 times a day and sleep inside. It's just one of those things, right? Like, come on, we can go camping and do weenies, right? No, not so much. So I understand the pressure, but you still want to show you're moving towards something, and that something is not just a paycheck. You want to make sure that your answer is clear, short, rational, and positive. So if you think about the first guy, his answers were kind of all over the place. It wasn't rational. Engineering is a very hard discipline to be good at. And it certainly wasn't positive, right? You know, those rat bastards at Acme, you know, that's not the way to start, right? So what I'd ask that you do right now, when we get started, is to think about the things about your current and most recent jobs. And why did they hire you, right? What problems did they hire you to solve? I'll guarantee you, nobody here got hired to sit around. Nobody here got hired for their good looks unless they were a model. And in my case, that was never going to be an option. So they hired you to solve a problem. What problems, put yourself in the terms of your hiring managers, what problems did they hire you to solve? Were you good at it? Then think about, did you get any promotions? Did you make any job moves? Any awards, recognitions? And what were the things that drove that? What's going on at the company? What changes happened? You know, we heard this morning, you know, reorgs, acquisitions, downsizing. Why were those things happening? Right? Think a little bit broader than just what happened to you. What's happening at an organizational level? And then think about your industry, your company. What's happening with your boss, right? What are some of those other factors? And I'm not saying that you take these things and you put them in your answer. I'm just asking you to take a step back and think about the context of why you're looking, right? Okay, so let me give you an example of what this looks like. It's a little tweak on what I did earlier. So John asked me, why am I looking?
So why are you looking?
Well, I recently left Acme Communications. There was a new competition coming into their market. They're an enterprise communications company focused on the Global 2000. They brought me in to help them figure out their small and medium business strategy. They had a local competitor who was eating up from the bottom, and they wanted to do something about it. They wanted to make sure that they had a competitive strategy to keep those people at bay. So I spent time there and developed a strategy, built some consensus around it. At the end of the day, they decided that they did not want to make the investment in small and medium businesses. They were going to continue to focus and differentiate in the enterprise space. And so that required us to make some tough decisions. One of those decisions was scaling back the team. I was part of that, and I helped make the transition from what we were going to do and what was available to the sales team and the marketing team, and then I exited the company. We left on great terms. So one thing I'll say about that is that's too long, okay? Self-critiquing. But I wanted to give you the spirit of what this thing needs to look like. So I failed on the short. I would tighten that up if I were me, or if I was, coaching somebody, I would certainly tighten that up. But it gives you the sense of some context, some color. It's a positive thing. You have a new opportunity in front of you. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to use this clock, and it's perfect. So what I want you to do is I'll leave this one up, and as of right now, you have 2 minutes to write down your first draft of the question, answering the question, why are you looking? Just a quick show of hands. How many found that exercise helpful? Okay, so you all aren't going to get up and walk out the door for the second one. That's good news. All right. All right, so let's go to the next question. What are you looking for? So the main thing around this is you want to let people know that you're moving towards something, right? That's something that you're excited about, something that you're good at, something where you'll provide value to the company that you end up working for. Once again, people don't want to pass you along to their friends, families, colleagues, bosses, unless you're going to be able to provide benefit wherever you end up. So you have to let people know what you're looking for. What are you looking for? So there's a real balance between making it too broad and making it super, super specific. So, and you have to figure out what that balance is. So an example of something that's too broad is I like a job. I'm looking for my next position in sales. Yeah, that's used cars, psychiatric services, which is probably right after used cars. Too broad. Too narrow would be, well, I want a sales job for a photolithographic mask company based in Austin at a company with 100 to 200 people that's fully funded, and I want to be the VP of sales. Probably about one job in Austin, maybe, right? So that's too specific. Does that help in terms of examples? When you say what you want, describe, right? Be as descriptive as possible. Once again, maintaining that balance. What's the role? What type of company are you looking at? What type of responsibilities are you looking to do? What types of challenges are the companies going to have, or problems that you can help them solve, right? Once again, this is about you're getting paid to solve problems. So identify the problems that you want to solve. You have a great opportunity, and I'm serious when I say this, I'm not being flip. You have a great opportunity to decide what problems you want to get paid to solve, right? So be smart about picking the problems you want to go solve. They may not have been the problems you solved yesterday or the job before that or the job before that. It may have been problems that you solved a long time ago. You want to solve those again.
Thank you, Alex. I was wondering if doing sales, but he also mentioned an interest in engineering. And personally, I'm kind of in that situation where my background was in course development and training, and now I'm looking more towards doing health services type work.
So I'm going to give two answers to that. One is, let me take the other questions at the end because I want to keep the pace going. So that's the presentation thing. The little bit longer answer is the search process that I talked about. You need to do some work up front, right, to really decide what it is you want to do. Go talk to 50 people in that field, find out what you really want to do, right? So, and that's kind of out of the scope of this, and I want to honor the time that Kathy's given me, so I'm going to move forward, but maybe afterwards we could have a short conversation. Cool?
Thank you.
All right. So, here's my example. Kathy asked me what I'm looking for.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a product marketing or product management leadership role. So that'd be like a director of product marketing or a director of product management, ideally at a mid to large size company, you know, maybe 100 people to, 1,000 people, somewhere in that side range. I really want to look at companies that have, that offer cloud-based solutions or business application solutions. And I have a target list of companies that I'd like to share with you here in a little bit that do that type of thing. So quick examples are Brick Communications and Web Apps R Us. To give you an example of the type of companies I'm looking at. And I'm looking for places where they can really benefit from my small and medium business experience and my high-tech B2B experience and my experience of helping companies enter new markets and grow revenue. So that was a little shorter, so that gets check on that. Hopefully it was rational, concise, clear, right? Did I do better on that one? A little bit of, yeah, okay, all right, good, good. All right, so once again, now it's your turn. I'll put this back up, and you have 2 minutes to write a draft. All right, so we're going to stop there. So I want to be really clear on what's supposed to happen. So we have, the first is 2 minutes. The first 2 minutes are A, takes 1 minute and tells B what they're looking for. B then takes a minute and gives feedback to A. That'll stop that 2 minutes. The next 2 minutes will start. B tells A their answer to the question. A then gives feedback, right? So it's 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay? So let's go. Starts now. A tells B. So I guess there was one important thing that I forgot to ask you to do when we started asking questions, and that is introduce yourself to the person that you're working with. A and B were not their names, their parents gave them, I promise. So just take a quick second and just say hi to your partner in crime. All right. So, the final question. So you're in your networking meeting and you've explained why you're looking in a clear, concise, rational, short way, positive. You've explained what you're looking for in a way that will allow that person to direct you into their network and point you to the right set of people. So now we're on to the punch. This is what's going to drive home them remembering you, them be able to tell a little story that they can pass along to their networks as they run into them. So, your general brand. Pretty much everybody here in this room is known for doing something. The IT guy, the marketing rock star, the engineer that can solve any problem you throw at him, the creative person who can design a user experience, bar none. Everyone has some sort of brand that you're known for doing. And hopefully that brand will tie very much into what you want to do, what you're passionate about. So you can build on what you've already built experience on and build on your passion and find the job your dream job. So, what problems are you good at solving? Once again, unless you're a model, nobody gets hired for their good looks. So what problems are you good at solving? Like I said earlier, you get to choose the problems you're solving. Right? You have that opportunity. So pick some problems that you're good at solving, that you enjoy solving. Usually the things that you're good at are the things that you enjoy. What's your professional value? Right? Why do people pay you? If you go back to, like I said earlier, to the last couple of jobs, why did they hire me? What problem was I hired to solve? And then what I want you to do, and this is a little bit of a challenge in 2 minutes. So you should walk away with 2 or 3 main values, right, that you're really going to focus on. And pick one of them. And for that, I want you to write a short summary statement. So for me, it would be grow revenue in new markets, something that I absolutely love to do. So a short summary statement would be, hey, I'm really good at finding new opportunities in new markets, segmenting the markets, figuring out the ecosystem that's needed to penetrate it, do some analysis, let's make sure it's worth it, and then come up with a plan to go attack it and bring home the bacon. A SOAR, right? So it's a situation, obstacles, my actions, and the result. And so that's coming up next. I'll show that next. Right? So that's kind of what we're looking for. Here's the example. Now this is lots of text. I would usually never show a slide like this. So, but I want to give you some sense of the level of detail that you want to write this down at. And the point is, nobody is ever going to see this document. Right? That's not what this document is for. This is for you, so that you're ready and prepared when you're doing your networking. Right? So I'm sure there's typos, it's not good English, right? That's all good. But it has the essence of the points that I want to make. So, my general brand is growing revenue from new markets. I can bridge business with technology, and I'm really good at cross-functional influence. If you work at someone mentioned they used to work at Dell, it's all about tying off and getting different people to agree to a common goal. It can be very difficult, especially in a large company. So the example I'm going to use is around growing new markets, and like I just said, it's figuring out where the opportunities are, which ones are worth pursuing, which ones aren't, what it would take to be successful, how much we might get, what's it going to cost to do the investment. So here's an example. And this is an accurate example from a local company. So I was hired in to help them get into the communication segment, expand their business in the communication segment. So I looked around and I saw this opportunity to increase their revenue coming out of the optoelectronics market. This was back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when they were laying fiber in the ground as fast as possible, funneling the dot-com boom. But we didn't know the market well, and we didn't know how to go about attacking that, and we also didn't have internal consensus. Some people said it was great, some people said it was the worst idea ever. So what I did is I went out and spoke to 50 customers. I talked to a bunch of partners. I talked to suppliers to those groups. I talked to friends. I actually have a PhD friend who was working at 3M at the time he's brilliant and he's doing fiber stuff. And then I just did a lot of research. There's a whole lot of research from Gartner and Forrest and all these large research companies. I pulled all that together and I sat down individually with these different teams to kind of get what their concerns were. And then once I had a sense of that, I said, okay, and I started getting them together and say, this is what the opportunity is. This is how we address your concerns. This is what the investment is. So that took about 2 to 3 months, and we agreed we would do something. 4 months later, we had a derivative product. We took a couple of products, made some tweaks to them to suit the market, and then 6 months after that, we had $20 million in revenue. So that's the end of the pitch. Do you think people would remember the story?
They remember the $20 million.
They remember the $20 million.
$20 million, right? Optoelectronics, whatever, maybe not. So those are the things, right? Leave some little things that are memorable to them. Okay? All right. So you have 2 minutes starting now, and I'll give you a 30-second warning. Once again, for the first minute or so, just stream of conscious. Don't try and edit it. Don't try and make it look good. Just stream of conscious, whatever comes to mind, and then you go back and pull out the nuggets. All right? All right. Let's go. A, you have 60 seconds to tell B what makes you great. I guess I'll leave with these thoughts, right? Number one is, don't be that guy, right? If you're asking somebody for their time, especially if you've been given a warm introduction, make the best of it, right? Be respectful, be on time, be prepared. You know, they want to help you. They wouldn't show up. They wouldn't take the call if they weren't willing to help you. So help them help you. Please think about a search process, not a job search. A search process. Pick one. There's a zillion on the internet. I'm sure of it, right? Mine will be in the slides. You can look at the video. I don't care. I'm not tied to it. Half of it's stolen anyway. Just pick one and go for it. And then network with a purpose. Understand where it fits in the process. When you ask somebody to meet for coffee or take a 30-minute phone call, explain to them very clearly that you're not looking for a job, that you're exploring for your next opportunity, and you value their insights and their advice, their opinions. People are always happy to give you their opinions, right? So you just want to take advantage of that. People typically want to help other people. So network with a purpose. Be respectful of their time. If they say 30 minutes, keep it to 30 minutes. If you're engaged and they're engaged, then ask with about 5 minutes left, can you go a little bit long? Maybe they'll say yes, maybe they'll say no, but respect their time. Always follow up, right? If you leave the meeting with that person being willing to introduce you to 2, 3 people, the next day, send that person an email. Even if they don't give you the names, send that person an email thanking them for their time. Write down one unique bit of information that you learned from that meeting. Say, you offered to introduce me to these 3 people, Tim, Peter, and Sally, at these companies. All that should be written down. I'd love to have the opportunity to talk to them if that offer is still open. Please let them know this is why I want to talk to them. Put a little 2-sentence paragraph in there saying, Alex is exploring for his next opportunity, blah, blah, whatever. If that person has half a brain, he'll just cut and paste that into 3 emails, and he'll ship it out the door, or she will ship it out the door. Make it easy on them. We're all busy. Make it very easy on them. Follow up, say thank you at a minimum. I want to thank Kathy for all that she's done. She said 16 plus years. She's missed 2 meetings. I've been heard about this club ever since I've been here. Well, maybe she exaggerated, But she's done a phenomenal, phenomenal job, and I just think that she needs to be recognized for the contribution she's made to our communities. Think of all the lives that she's touched, the jobs she's helped people found, and so she's really done a phenomenal job. Thank you very much.